Are you in any fandoms? Can you name some? Yes, I am. I have so many! Where do I begin? Oh my gosh! Well, for anybody that doesn't know, I love anime. Like, super much. Like, a lot. Um, it's a One Piece necklace. Can you see it? I love, and I quote, I love One Piece. Besides One Piece, though, I love One Piece, Steven Universe, practically a lot of other animes out there that I can't really remember right now. But there's a long list. Probably, let's see, Full Metal Alchemist, which is what started me on the anime train that I love so much. Fairy Tail, actually. I like a lot of the long-term animes. Noragami, which I recently got into, and oh my god, Yato's eyes. Yato's eyes are... Gah! Also, not to mention, there's like a little bit of a cat theme in the show. That kind of appeals to me too. Steven Universe. Love Steven Universe. If you notice, I always have a drawing of my little favorite plushies. There's only a few of them, but that's only a sparing few of all of the plushies that I have. Sonic and Luffy being at the top. Love Pokemon too. Pokemon Go. You're gonna hate me for this, but I did not download it. But wait, don't hate me yet. I didn't download it because I didn't want to get sucked into the love because I knew I would love it. And then I looked at the fandoms and I fell in love with Spark. I don't have a specific team. Maybe you guys can pick for me. If I had to go with a team though, because this is the thing, I love what the fandom has done to like Spark personality, but Moltres is my favorite legendary bird. It's a bird that has fire on its wings. I don't love Team Valor, but I love Moltres, and I love Team Instinct's idea, and I love Spark. Articuno is beautiful too. Eventually I want to draw all the birds from Pokemon Go. I really want to do the picture there. So, you know, maybe there's a future Pokemon Go picture coming out. Ooh, of all 3 legendary birds. Who knows? If I could have Spark on top of Moltres, there you go. Team Valstinct. I don't know. Alright. Next question. Who is your favorite Undertale character? Okay, well, I think I kind of was asked this question earlier. Well, no, this is a different one. Who did I resonate with the most was Alphys, who was my favorite Undertale character. Sans. I'm sorry, I fell into the trope. Everybody loves Sans, but gosh, he's the best. I mean, Bone Skeleton, Bone Husband. Don't get me wrong, I love Papyrus and all of his spaghetti, but Sans is... Sans. I totally don't look up fan art of all of the Sans shippings at all. No, I don't look up sexy Sans pictures. What are you talking about? No, I love Sans too much, actually. You see him? He's on the fridge, man! He's on the fridge! Alright, somebody got me that from Comic-Con. It's glorious. It's beautiful. I love me some Sans. That's part of the reason why I saved him for last for my speedpaints, because I cannot wait to get to him, because he was the best out of all of my characters so far. Papyrus was probably the funnest to draw, ironically, up until that point. And then I did Omega Flower. I was like, oh yeah! And then I got Sans done. You guys probably love that speed paint as much as I love drawing it, because it was so fun. Except for the papyrus scarf. People that join me in the streams will understand my pain with the scarf. The scarf in the window. You look at that speed paint really closely, you'll notice I didn't draw the wings in the window. And that was the thing when I was streaming it. I was drawing the window and I was super proud of myself with all the lines that I did. And I was like, this looks exactly like it. And I was ready to be done. And then somebody was like, where are the wings? And I was like... So I had to like do the entire thing over again. So I hate the window. And I hated doing Papyrus' scarf. So I love Sans. I love Undyne too. She's cool. She's hilarious. If anybody is a close second, it's probably Undyne. And not to mention, she's the first human that I've ever drawn, technically. So, she was the most fun human I had ever drawn, and I don't like drawing humans. It felt so weird to draw fingers for the first time, let me tell you, instead of paws. Because here are paws, they're just the fingers chopped off. And you extend them, and you're like, oh gosh, there's so many things to do with them! I had a strong animosity for humans, and then I drew Undyne, and I drew hair for the first time, and it was actually fun. So, Undyne not just being the best character to draw, but second favorite character. She's so passionate and hilariously nerdy. Anime's real, right? Please tell me anime is real. Yes, anime exists. Anime is real, Undyne. Next question. What is your favorite Undertale AU? Okay. Well, unfortunately, me being a super busy artist that I am, I don't have a lot of time to really look into the AUs. Probably one of the few that I've ever really seriously looked into and read the comics for, I'd have to say was Aftertale, Timetale, and Glitchtale. That was it, Glitchtale. I love them. Those are the ones I read. But from the ones that have blown up and I haven't read, like I don't know the entire lore for all of the AUs, and I regret saying that because I don't know. And that's one thing I definitely want to address for commissions. If you guys are going to have me draw a picture for a character, please give me a small sentence summary of what they're about, because that helps me with the posing and stuff and how, like, you know, positioning and stuff. And also, if they have backstory, then I love to add backstory. I always love to have depth with my characters. There's multiple things going on. I will say this. I had a huge inspirational buzz drawing the layout for Ink Sands. And you want to know why? Because, first off, I hate scarves because I love them. There are so many things you could do with them, gosh! Like, you could just have them going everywhere. God, it's hot in here. I might have to open a window. But you can just have them going everywhere. They're so fun and he has a giant brush! His character, I apologize if I get this wrong, but as far as I understand, his character is the guardian of art. He is the creator and guardian of all of the AUs of Undertale out there. And he's the god of art! He has a beautiful design as well. I mean, I definitely want to get to Underfell, and I want to get to Underswap, but Ink, out of those three, has to be my favorite. He has a beautifully gorgeous design. I just was looking at pictures, and I was just looking at pictures and designs for Ink Sands, as well as listening to an amazing song that I discovered, and I was listening to them and looking at them at the same time, and it was just like, God, so many ideas. I was like shivering with inspiration. I was just like, I gotta do it. And it was bad, man. It was really bad. Like, my mom was like, are you okay? And I was like, no, I gotta draw Ink Sands. And she's like, I don't know who that is, but okay. Ink Sands probably being the most beautiful character in all of the AUs that I want to draw to date. If I do a commission for an AU, I'm doing Ink Sands for free, because I have an idea for him. I'm not going to charge anybody for that. I'm drawing him regardless of a commission or not. But, I will address commissions. I'm saving them for the end for a reason. So, Ink would probably be the most beautiful of my design-wise. I love Ink Sands design. I'm stuttering, I'm sorry. But, best AU with lore behind it, and I probably would regret to say this because I haven't really gotten into them, and if I did, if people would be like shouting at me like, why didn't you read this one? This one's way better. Like, well, don't get mad at me because I haven't read all of them. I don't have time, so, I really wish I did, but I don't. So, I'm saying Aftertale. If you have a really good one, you can suggest them to me, but no promises that I'm actually going to read them. I will probably look at them and be like, hey, I'll get to it. A month later, have you read that yet? And I'll be like, oh, yeah, I know. I'm not promising anyone that I'll read them, but I want to get around to it. That's the goal, to get to reading all of the AUs, which is practically impossible because there's like 100 out there now. But you know what I mean. So, Aftertale lore-wise, I love the idea, I love the concept, everything is great. Ink Sands is probably the most beautiful. Hope that answers your question, and nobody hates me for this. And if you hate me, bring on the hate. I'm being Undertale trash now! Woo! I love Undertale trash. Go for it. Bring all the trash in. I exist in the dumpster of the underground. That's where I live. Do you ever plan on doing tutorials, such as how you do your line art or shading? Yes! I am so glad somebody finally asked me that question, because I've always wanted to do tutorials. I just, like I said before, I never really had a following to do tutorials because nobody really asked me anything before. So, yes, I would absolutely love to do tutorials. You just have to specify on what you want me to do. I know a few people wanted to ask me, because I do all of my intros, don't mock me for what I just said. I do all of my intros and closings. That's all me. I do all of the editing by myself. It's a one-man job. All of my speed paints are done by me. There. That question was answered if somebody asked that. I know if you guys want me to do, tutorials on something like my openings, or if you want me to do tutorials on, my line art or shading, sure, I absolutely don't mind. The only thing is that it'll be a little hard to explain because, and I'm not saying this to offend anybody, and by no means I want to offend anybody at all by saying this, but after you do something for so long, it kind of gets hard to explain it step by step. Like, when somebody would be like, how do you do your line art? And I'd just be like, I just do it. Like, I draw lines and there you go. But, like, step by step, if anything, I would not mind doing a tutorial as best as I can. Like, most of it is just really playing around with the settings inside and kind of just figuring out what works best for you, because I figured out early on that I love doing line art, and, excuse me, I've always been determined to get thinner and thinner line art. That's still a goal of mine. I want to get better at doing line art. There's an artist out there that I completely adore and admire, and his name is Marvelomania. Here he is! Flash him up there. I'm rambling again. Here we go. Marvelomania. I just discovered this guy very, very recently, like 3-4 weeks ago, and oh my gosh, I just didn't know that was him. Like, in the back of every single manga section, there's, like, you know, pictures that artists do, fan art, and like half of them would be his, and I'd be like, that was him? Like, oh, like, I didn't know that was him. So, you know, he does, like, amazing anime pictures, and he likes One Piece. I mean, I'm just saying, I love One Piece, he loves One Piece, we already are connected that way, we're already Nakama. I butchered that word. But, I eventually want to get to as good as drawing, you know, inking as good as that. Like, really dynamic shading with just the line art. Like, if you just left it as line art, it already looks like a completely done picture. So, sure, I wouldn't mind doing a line art or shading tutorial. I absolutely don't mind. And any tutorials you guys want me to show you, I would not mind. The only thing is, if it's something really specific, I would probably do it for a video. But if it's something on a wider scale, like say you wanted me to do a tutorial for After Effects, I would probably stream that. And if anybody doesn't know, After Effects is the software that I use for my openings and closings. So I would probably stream something a bit more complex that takes a little bit more time to explain, and people could jump in. Like, I'll have special tutorial streams or something that I'll, like, let people know for. If anything, I'll figure it out. I'll expound on all that stuff when we get there. This is all hypothetical and up in the air in a minute. But, yeah. Okay, next question. I'm so sorry! I totally forgot. I was gonna read the names that people are asking me. I'm totally sorry about that. Well, here we go. I guess I'm gonna start now. Thank you, Talon Zed the Drawing Endern, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, Snowy Fool, Creative Bliss 2, Mystical Dimensions, and Arvex the Gate. Previous questions. Thank you so much. Starting now, I will be saying the names for people that are asking me questions. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, the Sapphire Fox asked me, in how city are you living? I know what you meant. Sorry. Well, being as general as I possibly can without giving too much away of where I live. I live in California, and I live in Los Angeles. I hope that's enough of a generalization for you. I'm not giving my address away. I don't want people showing up at my door that I don't know. I mean, if you're a fan, I'd love to meet all of you eventually, but hopefully under different circumstances, like at a convention or something. So, yeah. But, there you go. So, to answer your second question, are you doing traditional art too? Yes and no. If you mean traditional art as in finished products, no. But if you mean, like, I just do mostly sketches. All the art that I do usually starts out as a sketch, and then it'll become a full-fledged picture when I go and put it through Sai. So I will sketch the entire picture, or at least part of it, because I have gotten so addicted to using my tablet. It's to the point where, like, I'm just like, I don't have the undo button, rah! And it's like, I'll draw a picture, and I'll just be like, dang, I wish I could just copy and paste that hand, or flip it, or just reverse it, or something, use the magical power of editing in digital art. So, if anything, I'll draw parts of characters, like I'll draw a hand here, and then I'll draw, like, a head, and then, here, I'll just show you right now. Boop! There it is. So if you kind of look, a lot of my pictures are cruddy and bad, and, you know, they don't look anything like the finished product that I do on Sai. So, you know, I'll scan it in, and I'll practically probably go over it. So I don't have any traditional drawings, like, completely finished, as in, like, full inked pictures, but I do only just, like, pencil sketches for the most part. So, yeah, all of that kind of gets transferred over to Sai. So, well, we'll get into that. Never mind. Sorry. Next question. What made you decide to use a cat as your alter ego? Ooh. Well, that kind of answers the one of the questions I had earlier about me loving warrior cats, and I just had always gotten attached to it ever since. And I have been a super big animal lover from the beginning of time. I actually always wanted to be a vet when I was a little girl, and I just loved animals I loved them. And, I love all animals. I love cats, I love doggies, I love birds, fish, hamsters, I love them all. And I really got attached to cats, though. I don't know, because I guess growing up we only had cats. Sad to say, I've never had a doggy, and I really want one. I've never had a dog. And I can't have one because our landlord won't let us have pets. So I can't, but, basically I've always been attached to cats. So, I don't know, even though they're super moody, like, they'll stare at you for a couple seconds and then walk off because they don't care. We used to have a lot of stray cats near our house where we used to live, and they just always came by, and they'd come and look at us adorably, and we'd feed them, or I'd feed them. My mom would be like, trying to do something else and try to convince me not to, but I couldn't resist. Those puppy cat eyes. Kitten cat! There you go. Kitten cat eyes. I couldn't resist them, so I'd always be feeding our strays, and eventually sometimes we'd adopt a couple of them. And I just had a lot of cats growing up. And then Warrior Cats, on top of that, a series that I loved, didn't help my affection for cats. So I've kind of just become half cat. Like, I'm literally, like, I meow and everything. Like, if anybody knows me personally, every response usually is a meow or something. I always meow. That's just my thing. It kind of runs in the family. I don't know. We've all been cat lovers. So, I don't know. I just always loved the Warrior Cat series, and I've always... I guess if you've read the Warrior Cat series, I would identify myself as a kitty pet named Crystal. And then where the name Crystal Kitty K came from, this is offhanded topic, but if you wanted to know, Crystal Kitty K, I've always loved the name Crystal. Like, if I ever had a kid, I would probably name them Crystal related. A girl, of course. Every single game I've had where you can name your character, like you start out with, like, the game prompts you, what do you want to name your character or whatever. That's what I named my character in Undertale. Well, my first run. The second run was Kiki. That's what my nickname was in high school. Kiki Peps or whatever. I always name my main characters like some kind of variation of the word crystal, because crystal is a very overused name. Sometimes it's a very popular name, at least where I live. So it'd be Crystal or Chrisette, Kristana, I don't know, something that began with Chris. I always loved the name Chris. It just was so pretty. I don't know. And this was before I found out about Steven Universe, so this had nothing to do with the Crystal Gems at all. I loved Crystal before that. And then the Crystal Gems came out, and I just loved them some more. So, Crystal, being the name I absolutely adore. Kitty, because it's a cat. And K, the first letter of my name. So, Crystal Kitty K. And, there's a reason why I didn't name Crystal with the... Sorry about that. I hope you guys didn't hear that. I just opened my window because it is boiling hot in here. It is like, of course, on the day that I'm answering my Q&A questions, I decided to open it up on the hottest day this side of California. Ugh. So, there's a reason why I didn't name my first name Crystal with a K, because then that would spell KKK, and I don't want to get into that. Next question! When does the crow... Okay, hold up. When does the crow cry the lullaby for the fry in Dubai when the two-ply can drive for the lie that was written by the eye on the pie so that guy has the high that does not die? Yeah! Saturday, apparently. Was the question to say that? Because I did. There you go. I don't know when the crow cries. I can never do it again. It's gone forever. Plan on collaborating more often? If so, think I may tag along that bandwagon? Well, I have been doing a little bit of snooping for the previous questions that the next few questions I'm gonna answer, and yes, definitely yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Motorcycle Dude was gonna come back. He did. Never mind. Sorry about that. Well, I'll go into it more later. I really wanted to get into that later. So, yes on the collaborations, but I will say I won't willingly... I really don't want to close my window. It's really hot, but I might have to, because I keep getting people driving by in motorcycles, and it's really annoying. I'm so sorry about that. Even with the window closed, he's still very loud, and he just decided to circle around on the street where I live. Thanks for that. Collaborations, yes. I definitely want to accept more collaborations. But, as I was saying, I'm not probably going to go seeking them out. Like, I'll let them most likely come to me, because I kind of want to just get my channel started a bit and flourish it a bit. So I'm gonna mention this later. I will come back to this because I want to expound more on this. I have an idea for something like this, so I'm going to answer these questions about the collaboration later. Do not think I forgot, okay? Coming back. Alright, next question. Age? Why, I am 19 currently. Well, I just turned 19 last week actually, so I was 18 when you asked this question. I am 19 now. Next question. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry I did it again. Thank you, Media Dragon 777, Molly Jones 14, Chosen 1, and Kenji 42, and Fixiel. Thank you so much for your questions. Next question, I'm so sorry. Gay Kid 3 says, what programs and stuff do you need to do speed paints and which do you use? Okay, I'm gonna answer these questions one at a time. So, for my speed paint software, I post this in the end of my descriptions, but I use Camtasia 8 for recording my software, recording my drawings, and then I go and tweak it in After Effects. Now, After Effects, I will say, unfortunately, all of the software that I got, it is not free. I hate to say that it's not free. For some obscene reason, I just wanted to get really unnecessary expensive software. I don't know why. Well, it was partly because in high school we did a lot of video projects and I just had the need to get it, and there was a deal for students at the time, so that's why I have After Effects now. But it took me a really long time to learn how to use it, because let me just tell you right now, After Effects is one of those really intimidating programs where you open it up and there's just so much. Well, actually, now that I think about it, no, because when you open it up, it's just a blank slate, there's nothing there, and it's just like, what do I do? And you're just like, what? So, you know, it's when you officially, like, you know, teach yourself how to use it through various tutorials on YouTube that lovely people make, because I don't know what the heck I was doing when I first made my speed paint. The very first opening, the opening that I have currently, where, you know, Crystal's getting drawn and I have all of my little plushies, that opening and the Crystal Kitty K logo bounces, that is the first thing I ever made in After Effects, and I do say so. I was pretty happy with that, but did I know what I was doing? Heck no. Very complicated software to learn how to use, but when you do know how to use it, there's so much freedom. It's one of those products that do exactly what you tell it to do. It's like, if you want something to go this much at this speed, this fast, in this direction, you have to tell it to do that. So if you know how to do that, congratulations, you can use After Effects. If you don't know how to do that, well then you gotta teach yourself, just like I did. So, and I only learned through learning how to do a bunch of tutorials. Honestly, I will say this, I learned how to do the bulk of my animating through Barry of Game Grumps. He did a little bit of a tutorial for how he edits their videos, and that helped me tremendously. Yes, I love the Grumps. I grump around occasionally. I've been loving them since middle school, so I grew up with them. Back when John was on the show, too. But Danny is amazing. I love him. So, yeah, I learned everything through Barry's tutorial. And he uses Adobe Premiere, but After Effects is very similar, like practically identical, just a few smidge differences. So, if you want to learn how to watch After Effects, I wouldn't mind doing a tutorial on it, but I will say I want to hopefully know or assume before I do a tutorial that you have an inkling of how to use After Effects already. Because all of the stuff that I really do, a lot of it is fancy. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, a lot of them are fancy plugins that you do have to pay for. I don't know why I did that. I don't know. They were over time though, I didn't get them all at once. But yeah, I don't know. I got After Effects so long, I don't remember exactly how much it was when I got it. So if somebody wants to put a link in the description or put a link in the comments about the current price of After Effects, go ahead and do it. But I don't know currently. I got it so long ago I couldn't remember for the life of me how much it was. But yeah, all of the stuff I use is After Effects plugins. Like I got the big whooshy fancy 3D text, that's Element 3D. I got the track code suite from Red Giant, and that's where I use all of my sparkles. That's track code particular. This may sound like complete Mongolian to you, and if you have no idea what that means, don't worry about it. But if you do have After Effects experience, I hope you know what I'm talking about. Eventually, if I do an After Effects tutorial, I'll go more in depth with that. But for now, I'm just saying, no, the software unfortunately is not free. But that's the question I answered. So I use Camtasia 8 for recording my drawings, and then I transfer everything over to After Effects and I edit it that way. Oh my gosh, and I totally forgot to mention this. Camtasia 8. Whoo boy! I don't know if I should recommend that software. It does a good job, but it is the glitchiest software in the world. I've never had a more glitchy software. Oh my gosh, it's so infuriating sometimes. The thing cannot render a video for like 2 minutes without crashing on itself because it's so broken. Oh my god. Yes, they've come out with updates since then, but it's still super glitchy. Like, it's ridiculously glitchy. It records fine. Like, the recording process is totally fine. It's when the rendering comes to, like, it'll be like, da-dum-da-dum-da-dum-da-dum, ha ha ha. I have to close the program and restart. What? What? Because my speed paints, unfortunately, are not short. I can't make them any shorter than they are because my pictures take a few days to make, so what somebody would do in, say, 3 hours, it would take me 3 days. So, you know, my pictures are in processes, so it takes me a lot longer to draw pictures, and my pictures usually are... Alright, I guess I'll walk through the process here. Well, no, but, I'll get to that. Gotta get out the Gatorade. My lips might be red from this video, so I apologize if I have red lips later. When I'm recording my software, my pictures, that's fine. It's the rendering process that takes forever. And I said before, my pictures take forever to render because they're so long. So when I finish editing my pictures, I usually have a chunk of 6 hours or 6 to like 15 hours of footage to go through, because if it's over the accumulation of a few days, it'll be like, I'll be drawing usually in 3-hour sessions or longer. I can't draw for less than 3 hours. It'll taunt me, it'll torture me. I love to sesh for like all day. I'll just be sitting in the chair for 8 hours at a time. That's really good for my health, I'm sure. So I'll have chunks of just like 15-hour footage, and I usually, and a lot of it is longer, like, oh my god, the Sans picture and the Undertale picture. The Sans picture was maybe like 30 hours. That would take me a long time. The Undertale picture, oh my gosh, was that a chore to go through. Woo! Like, that was an entire day. I'm not even kidding, an entire day from the moment I got up in the morning till 11 o'clock to about 3 o'clock at night. I was editing that mother. It was huge, and it was just like, that was like 60 to 70 hours of just stuff to go through. Oh my gosh. And I usually end out cutting a lot, so that's why I stream, so you guys don't have to see, like, the cutout version, because I cut out a lot of stuff. And then I gotta speed it up, but I can't speed it up too much, so it goes by in a blink of an eye, and you're just like, what, Crystal, what did I just... I gotta, you know, take my time on it, and there's usually a bunch of, like, you know, I gotta add the crossfades, and that's a lot of work to do, so all of that is the editing chunk. Just that alone. Editing with Camtasia. And once I finish editing it, it begins the process of rendering, and oh my gosh, I can't render. The thing will not let me render longer than like a minute and a half max. So, say I have a 15-minute speed paint, and I have to render in parts of a minute and a half, and another minute and a half. And sometimes it'll break and be like, oh, a minute and a half is too much, I gotta do less than that, maybe a minute. Oh, that's too much too, I gotta do 30 seconds. Whew, you're really pushing my limits over here. Like, jeez, like, it'll take, like, the finished product of the fully rendered thing is usually like 10 parts, and rendering the thing each time is like an hour long. So, say I'm rendering a 15-minute speed paint, like the Undertale speed paint for instance, I just rendered 10 hours of junk. Gosh, that's such a chore. So, for short projects, Camtasia I recommend. For long projects, don't use it. But I haven't changed because I haven't found a software better that I like that records as good as Camtasia. Like, it records quality. It does that. It just renders, like... So, got off topic there. I'm probably going to do that a lot because I like to talk. I'm sorry. I like to talk to you guys. I didn't have anybody to talk to before, so I do now. So I'm gonna ramble a lot. Also, what is your favorite thing about drawing? Everything. I mean, well, no. I have definitely favorite parts. I honestly didn't know how, I guess, how nice my line art was until you guys pinpointed it out. I guess line art was my strength. I didn't know that. Thank you so much. It means so much for you guys to tell me that. But, line art, outlining is definitely my favorite process. It's so fun. For really complex pictures. Characters that have really complex designs are really fun to do, line art-wise. Characters that have, say, a lot of shapes and a lot of strong, long lines. Like, Papyrus was not fun to outline, like, at all. Like, I mean, like, I had a lot of fun doing the cracks, but, like, just his head, it's just, like, a really long line, and then his circle body was just a perfect circle, which there's a trick to do. I've gotten questions about how to do perfect circles. There's a tutorial floating around on YouTube that I watched to figure out how to do it. It's not that hard. There you go. There's how to do a perfect circle. Boom. It's like 2 minutes long. So characters that have really complex designs are really fun to do outlining wise. And then the coloring. I hate coloring because one, I draw my pictures in stages. So when I, like, for instance, take Melon style, for example. If you're doing a painting, quote unquote, or the digital painting style that she does, you're gonna do you add detail as you go. So, like, all of the detail is drawn on together as you're doing it. So, like, say she does, like, a base of just, like, color, and then she cleans it up so you can identify people's, like, you can identify Sans head, and then you can identify fingers, and then she keeps adding detail so you can see the cracks in the fingers, and then eventually the shine on Sans head, like, stuff like that. Like, you add the detail, and the glowing from the light sources that you have, that adds on with everything. It's all in one process. For my line art, and you might ask me, why do I do line art instead of painting? I can't paint for the life of me. I don't know what it is. I painted the Saijin picture, but it's not for me. I eventually want to get to drawing a character like that. I've always wanted to, because I know I like painting effects. Like, I really like doing, like, fire and stuff like that is painted. Backgrounds I hate doing, but I'm getting better at them. So, you know, eventually I want to do a fully painted character. I just have gotten so accustomed to fitting in my comfort zone of doing line art that I haven't tried to step out of that zone yet. But who knows? I mean, I've always kind of wanted to try it. Maybe for ink sans, I'll do that. Who knows? Maybe I'll paint it. Ooh. Coloring is my least favorite part. So probably the favorite thing about drawing is doing the line art. For shizzle. And then everything else is based on the line art, so I'll just do it from there. So yeah, to wrap up that question, outlining is my favorite thing about drawing. It's just so free, and there's so many things to do with it, and it's just, I don't know. You probably wanted me to go deeper on that, but I don't really know how to answer that question. I really like outlining, and if I had to pick a favorite thing about drawing, it's just, there's so many things that you could it's like a paradise of creativity. And yes, there's a lot of different modems that you could do, as in music and dance and all of the other modems of art, the mediums I meant to say. But for instance, my favorite thing to say, and the best thing ever, is when I'm showing my mom my art. And she's a huge supporter. Like, all of my family really supports me in my art. I'm so appreciative to every single person out there that has said something nice about my art. It means the world to me to get told that. And I would show her a picture and be like, hey, Mom, check it out. And she'd be like, what is that? Like, her reactions are the best sometimes. I showed her, like, the Sans picture, the process of me drawing Sans, and I had just done the Gaster Blaster covering Sans in his mouth. And she was like, what, is he okay? Is he gonna eat him? Like, what's going on? That's really scary. Why are you drawing a skeleton of all people? And I'm like, stop. Like, you know, it's just like, that's the thing I love about art. You don't question it. You just love it. Like, half the artists that I follow, I don't even know what it is, but I'm just like, it's so beautiful. I don't even care what I'm looking at. I just love the way it looks. So yeah. And lastly, do you ever wish to create a comic, animation, or video game, etc.? Well, I mean, I don't know if I ever see myself doing a comic. I've always wanted to learn how to animate. I definitely want to learn how to do animation. But I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm a very, 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 very big perfectionist. I take time on my drawings because I enjoy drawing one picture to the best of its ability. I draw one picture to its extent and I'm done. I never touch it again. Animation, I've always wanted to learn how to do. I've had several ideas for animation. I really want to do an animated opening down the line. But I don't know. Like, I know exactly what would happen. I would draw one beautiful, perfect frame. It would be great, and it's so detailed. And then I'd be like, dang it, I have like 500 more to do. Like, you know, like, I would just be like, oh, there's so many things to do, and I'd have to dumb down my style, which I don't like to do. I like to be detailed, so if I could figure out a style that I'm consistently happy with, that's not too detailed, but detailed enough for it to look good, then yeah, maybe. I eventually want to animate an opening of Crystal or something. I want to do an animated opening down the line. But, I don't know when, and I haven't really started anything for any future projects, so I don't know. And also, on top of that, I haven't found a single, I mean, definitely please, guys, suggest me animated opening software. I mean, animation software, because I have been looking, because I know a lot of people, and I know Melons uses Toon Boom, but I really want to like find, because I haven't found like I tried to animate through Photoshop. It has like a timeline thing, and I don't like drawing line art in there, and it's like I have yet to find another drawing software that can let me draw as freely as Psy. Like, first off, Psy has so much diversity, you can tweak things however you want. Second, that stabilizer. That stabilizer is the life and death of me. If I didn't have that stabilizer, I would not have the perfect line art that I have. I really wouldn't. It's so perfect and great. It just, I don't know what it does. It like slows down your hand strokes just enough for it to smoothen out the line so it looks like godlike work. And it's like, I didn't do that, but the computer made me do it, so therefore I did. If you guys can suggest an animation software that works almost as good or close enough to as good as the way Psy works, I would love to, because I haven't successfully found one yet that I can settle with my non-detailed framework. I don't know. Yeah, so I'll like let you guys decide that. You know. And comic-wise, I've been told a lot of people ask me like, oh, do you do comics? Because of my style, my line art, you know, a lot of comic artists for characters that do manga. A lot of it is centered around line art. You know, it's a non-colored comic work. And, you know, a lot of the times the line art has to be very dynamic and a lot of shading, which is what my art is. And I don't know, I'd have to learn how the whole panel thing works. I'm one of those people that don't really have a lot of creative ideas. I don't really have a lot of original characters. I only have a few. I have the two that this was a really long time ago and has next to no views on it, but you know what, maybe go check it out. I did two characters, and this was also in my art class because it challenged me to think outside the box, and it was like, do themes with like pain and agony and sadness and remorse and hurt and happiness at the same time. And I was like, I'm gonna draw wolves because I don't know how to draw anything else. I draw cats and I draw sometimes dogs, so I'm gonna draw a wolf. And I want to learn how to draw wolves too. I want to learn how to do the four-leggeds: cats, wolves, and dogs. 3 of my favorite four-leggeds. I did a picture called Fractured Polarity, and you can go back in my speed paints and find it, and it's really bad and it's terrible, and I don't hate it, but it's bad. And it was the very first time I tried having, like, you know, closings that had like information to them, like, oh, hey, go check out this link. So those are 2 original characters that I made, who are unnamed, by the way. I have never named them, and I eventually attempt to want to, but they're like the only original characters. The point I'm trying to make is I'm a very boring person that I have no original characters for, and I don't know if I would make a comic because I don't know what it would be about. Like, I don't make original characters. I do fan art a lot. There is a definite future speed paint coming up where I do those pictures again. I want to redraw those 2 wolves. Fractured Polarity is going to be a future speed paint. I want to do a redraw. So a like check out how much you've improved kind of picture. Excuse me. So yes, that is definitely coming up. Who knows when, but I want to do it. I already have like sketches of it. Boom, here it is. Look at, there's the dark guy, there's the light guy. Part of her body is over there, but yay! So I definitely want to redraw these 2. But comic wise, I can't say that I can successfully say anything like that's coming. I don't really have ideas for anything like that. I don't have ideas for comics, but I do want to get to an animation. Video game wise, nah. I mean, no. I would love to help on a video game, like if somebody else had the amazing idea to create one and I'd just be in the background helping out with the fan art or the cover art or something, sure. But making a video game, like my own original idea, probably not. I don't really have a lot of original ideas. I copy ideas. That's what I am. I'm a fan artist, unfortunately. I don't have any original ideas. Original characters, hopefully I'll come up with more. I don't know. So to answer your question, comic, probably not. Video game, no. And animation, yeah, maybe. If you guys help me out with some animation software, yeah, sure. I'd love to. Just don't expect any time soon because I have to learn how to animate first, and I've never done it. Next question. What gave you inspiration for drawings like that? Drawings like what? I don't know. White Hurley? I hope I said that right. Well, if you mean how I draw my pictures in general, well, I will get to that question in a minute because there's something I want to mention first and another question already asked. So, as in drawing like that, I'm assuming you mean drawing like line art? I don't know. Or just drawing the style I do? I don't know. I mean, everybody's style eventually develops over time. So this is just something that has been years and years and years of coming. So probably started really seriously digitally drawing when I was 16. So it's been 3 years since. And I just kind of... the inspiration thing, I have a reason for that. I'm jumping around a lot because I have other people that ask me questions that answer these questions. So if I skip your question, I will come back to it. There's another question that already asked this question. You know what I'm trying to say? Line art-wise was just over time. Inspiration-wise,